and it's about how these awards go about being given in these titles. Bill Belichick, officially not a first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. Is the Pro Football Hall of Fame because they like to carry themselves. And we have met all the people that operate the Hall of Fame. These people love ball. They love the Hall of Fame. But it precedes the NFL, so it's Pro Football Hall of Fame over there in Canton. It's a lot of things, the history of the game and everything like that. The people that do the voting for who gets in there, it certainly feels like are kind of getting exposed right now for maybe, holding some personal biases against people instead of, just giving out a vote of who should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick, if he's not a first ballot contributor, because it's players and then there's like contributors. This is where coaches, GMs, contributions to the game. I think Madden went through this and also as a coach. I think that is how he went through. So there's different categories of how you get in. Coaches, GMs, and contributors, I think, are in their own kind of sphere, their own world. He could be two of those things. He could be a coach, first ballot Hall of Famer, and he could be a first ballot general manager Hall of Famer. I mean, if you were the guy who drafted Tom Brady at pick 199, who would go on to become the greatest, and then make the decisions that you make with your roster and the turnover and the ability to kind of do salary cap gymnastics before everybody else, let alone all the Hall of Famers that he's drafted, coached, brought onto the team, had success with, as a general manager alone, okay? And he'll say he had people helping him. He certainly did. Okay, that every building. Turns out it's not just one person doing it, but the general managers take credit for the team that they've assembled to be able to do this. He would be first ballot Hall of Famer if you put his resume up just as a general manager. And then you go for a head coaching thing. That's what are we even talking about here? He's the guy. A lot of people have said, the Lombardi is certainly a good title. Mm-hmm. Everybody's hunting the Lombardi.
Oh, yeah.
Lombardi is an absolute legend. There's an argument to be made that should be called the Belichick. There's a conversation about his name potentially being on the trophy that you win whenever you beat everybody else in the league. And it's been a fascinating thing. Feels like everybody in the ball world has the same opinion. Feels like some of these media people high horsing a little bit. Mm-hmm. Some of these people that have the power to write legacies, the power to change trajectories, the power to decide whether or not you're a first ballot or a second ballot or a Hall of Famer at all, maybe feel as if they're holier than thou. Maybe the way they see life is the only way to see life. Maybe the way they want things to be handled is the only way for things to be handled, because Bill Belichick was never really nice to the media. I mean, that was not a...
No, not his thing.
What's your tattoo you have on your bicep?
We're on to Cincinnati because they kept asking him about the previous game that they lost very poorly against Kansas City, and he just responded to every single question. We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, and every other press conference that he had, he was very joyful with the media, right? He loved talking to them.
Yeah, he wouldn't eviscerate them. He actually just decided to completely render them indifferent and not even answer their questions.
And that was just local people, national? Was that who was that?
That was across the board. You could go from preseason week 1 all the way till Super Bowl media week.
Okay, so that's potentially who makes up a large portion of who's doing the vote, because it's one writer from each city, I do believe. Then there's a select group of national reporters who cover the game that are selected to do the voting, and then there's like a senior at large where Bill Polian, I believe Tony Dungy, a couple others, they also are in on the voting thing. Now, there was some mixed reporting last night that Bill Polian was the one that was fighting against it because Spygate, they did what we thought they did. Mm-hmm. They did the unthinkable. And as a person that was in a training camp, and Bill Polian drafted me, so I'm very thankful for what Bill Polian did to my life. He saw me as a punter when I didn't think I was going to be a punter, but getting a chance to kind of watch him operate in training camp whenever we were outside, there was multiple conversations that happened about maybe a plane flying a little bit too low or too slow. That's Belichick. Somebody sitting in the crowd, okay, with a hat on, looking a little bit too interested. That's Belichick. There was a ultimate kind of fear that there was somehow getting hacked. There was something happening from the team up in New England. So whenever it comes out that Bill Polian was standing on a table basically saying, we aren't letting him be your first ballot for our thing, and maybe others follow suit because you do that, I was fascinated, but I thought it was believable. Then there was an immediate report afterwards that said, just talk to Bill Polian. He said, absolutely not. That's totally and categorically untrue. I voted for him. Then there was another article that came out from Don Von Natta Jr., who was at the bottom of this entire thing. Yep. And he says, Bill told me, man, I don't remember if I did. But then he also said 95% sure he voted for him. Bill Polian, I will say, and I'm just learning he still does radio. He's the man who drafted me. Obviously, I watched tail end of his career as well, whenever the Colts thing there. Interacting with him right now, I don't know if Bill Polian 100% knew that he was going to be on the record whenever he's talking to Don Van Nauten. Now, Don Van Nauten, a good journalist, probably told him he was going to be on the record. But Bill Polian, I 95% sure. I don't know if Bill Polian knew for sure that everybody was going to immediately go, bullshit, we know that you didn't do it. And then now the question leads, to get into the Hall of Fame, you have to get 40 of 50 votes. Okay, we know who the 50 voters are. That's been projected everywhere across the internet now.
Yeah.
Because everybody would like to know who doesn't deserve to have a say in this thing. Who are the people that get a vote for the Hall of Fame, which is a massive ordeal for everybody that plays in the sport. Who is mistreating or who is disrespecting their position in having the say in the matter? Everybody on earth seemingly is viewing it the same way.